Episode 56 FY July 10, 2023. Vermont's AG is suing the EPA so wood stove owners can have clarity, manufacturers, certainty, and ability to plan loopholes. Vermont. Rosep View. What follows is a transcript of a brief interview with the Attorney General of Vermont. A retail wood stove seller who would like to sell off his polluting wood stoves is also interviewed. The retail wood stove seller is in limbo right now because the EPA has not updated its wood stove certification standards, but are you sorry for this wood stove retailer? Did he think he was selling non-polluting wood stoves? The wood stove retailer wants clarity on whether the stoves he has in his store now are violating clean air standards, but the Office of the Attorney General, OIG, watchdog of the EPA already stated in a report in February 2023 that his wood stoves are extremely likely to be violating clean air standards. That is clarity. Who is at the table when discussing air pollution in Vermont? There are many wood-burning residents in Vermont. In fact, Vermont is the state with the highest percentage of residential wood burners in the United States. This is ground zero of particulate pollution from wood burning, with the attendant adverse health effects. The first people the Attorney General thinks of when considering wood-burning stove certification are the owners of polluting wood stoves. The solution to the problem of owning and operating a polluting wood stove is to remove that stove from retail stores and from people's homes. The government even provides subsidies for replacement of a wood stove with heat pumps that work at temperatures down to 40 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. Those heat pumps are so efficient they guarantee to lower any heating bills, and heat pumps double as efficient air conditioners in the summer. No, the Attorney General is primarily concerned in joining this suit against the EPA not with clean air, but with providing clarity to wood stove owners. It is clear that wood stove owners should stop wood burning, if not for their own health, for the health of their near neighbors. And how about those near neighbors? They also vote. The Attorney General thinks not of cutting emissions from wood burning but the feelings of the wood stove owners who elected her. They have polluting wood stoves. The wood stoves waiting to be sold in the retail stores are polluting. The OIG stated that in February 2023. Will wood burners' feelings be hurt if wood burning is labeled polluting and, gasp, not green in the Green Mountain State? Will wood burners' feelings be hurt if the health of their near neighbors is valued above their only recreation, sitting immobile in front of smoking solid fuel? Current wood burners could heat their homes instead with government-subsidized heat pumps which would lower their heating bills and improve their health along with the health of their near neighbors. Who is at the table when the Attorney General makes decisions about how much pollution can be tolerated from wood burning in Vermont, which is the negotiation when deciding the rules of certification of wood stoves? The near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners suffer lung cancer, asthma, and cataracts directly because of neighborhood wood burners. Near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners are residents of Vermont too, and they vote too. Does everyone who moves to Vermont expect to breathe wood smoke instead of using the most modern ways to heat homes, when they could breathe clean air? There should be a complaint-based system instead of certification of stoves that all agree are polluting. But wood stove manufacturers negotiate how polluting wood stoves are allowed to be, using certification. This is similar to when the tobacco companies introduced low-tar cigarettes that caused lung cancer along with ordinary cigarettes. The lie of marketing low-tar cigarettes as safer worked as a marketing gambit for the tobacco companies for a while. Then when the 2023 regulation limits are set that EPA decides, indoor residential wood burners can have clarity. Then the wood stove manufacturers can also have clarity and certainty of just what level of pollution is allowed, so the loopholes can be set up to nullify the whole process of certification. Clarity indeed. It is clear when a Purple Air PM 2.5 monitor's data shows emission levels above EPA standards, when that Purple Air monitor is hanging from the eaves of a home of a near neighbor of an indoor residential wood burner, it is clear that levels of particulate pollution above 25 micrograms per meter cubed daily or 8 micrograms per meter cubed annually register on that Purple Air PM 2.5 monitor, that unsafe levels of wood-burning particulates are being emitted that are harmful to human health, and wood-burning PM 2.5 is being emitted that causes early deaths of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. Those near neighbors should be able to complain to health departments, and those health departments should be able to shut down indoor residential wood burning, wood stove by wood stove if necessary, without even having to enter the residences of wood burners, but armed with scientific proof of evidence of real-time harm to public health caused by wood stoves. Near neighbors should not have to be canaries in a coal mine, since the health effects of wood smoke have been demonstrated on the East Coast from Canadian wildfire smoke repeatedly and dramatically in the last few months. This primitive and obsolete method of home heating, indoor residential wood burning, in wood stoves or any other wood-burning appliance, needs to be retired, since there are clean, and now cheap alternatives in 2023. Vermont Attorney General. The Vermont Attorney General says wood stove owners deserve clarity. https://youtube.be/8FHLCLJYZPK recording on YouTube. Transcript of a recording of a Vermont TV news item, with some quotes from Vermont Attorney General Charity Ray Clark. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates. Attorneys General of 10 states, including Vermont, are intending to sue the EPA over wood stove standards. In their letter to the EPA, the state's attorneys general accused the agency of not keeping up with mandatory duties. Channel 3 explains. New at 6. The Environmental Protection Agency's Office of Inspector General released a report back in February saying their 2015 performance standards for wood stoves were flawed and lacked clarity. Those standards were supposed to receive an update earlier this year, but that never happened. Charity Ray Clark speaking, there are no systems in place for certifying or testing these wood stoves. In a notice of intent to sue, 10 states allege the EPA is not taking steps to protect public health or the environment under current EPA rules. Stoves are being tested and certified by third-party labs using different methods. Charity Ray Clark speaking, right now we have a regulation that they haven't followed. It expired in May or was due in May. Every 8 years, they're supposed to review those performance standards. They have not reviewed those performance standards. Owner of the retail store at Montpelier Stove and Flag, Ray Flaggy, explains, wood stoves are supposed to emit less than 2 grams of particulates per hour. He says unless that number changes, updating the standards would mostly impact manufacturers. Ray Flaggy speaking, assuming that they do change the standard, some of the product might not meet that standard. Hopefully we'd have some time to sell them off. It's also been pointed out a lot of money has been spent by the state and individuals to upgrade to systems meeting EPA standards. Charity Ray Clark speaking, Vermonters deserve to get what they're paying for, and that means making sure that these wood stoves are as good as they say they are, Clark says. The reporter speaking, the EPA has not provided a formal response to their notice of intent to sue. They also did not return my request for comment. Clark says if they don't review these performance standards by the end of August, that's when they'll be filing the suit. In the newsroom, Channel 3 News. https://www.wcax.com/video/2023/07/05/vermont-ag-says-woodstove-owners-deserve-clarity-epa-emissions. Wikipedia. The Attorney General of Vermont is a Democrat who worked for former Vermont Governor Howard Dean. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates. The governor of Vermont is Republican Phil Scott and Charity Ray Clark was preceded in office by Suzanne Young. Charity Ray Clark is 47 and was born on July 15, 1975. She received a BA from the University of Vermont and a law degree JD from Boston College. Charity Ray Clark, born July 15, 1975, is an American lawyer and politician from Vermont. A member of the Democratic Party, she has served as Vermont Attorney General since January 2023. Charity Ray Clark, 1, was born in Springfield, Vermont on July 15, 1975. She was raised in Manchester, Vermont and resides in Williston, Vermont. 6. She is a descendant of Thomas Chittenden, the first governor of Vermont. 5. Her father, Marshall Clark, owned a supermarket in Londonderry, Vermont. Her mother, Melody McGinnis Reed, was executive director of the nonprofit arts organization Gallery at the Vault in Springfield. Clark graduated from Burr and Burton Seminary in 1993. Her siblings include a twin sister, Chelsea. She earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science from the University of Vermont in 1997 and served as a policy analyst in the administration of Governor Howard Dean. She then enrolled at Boston College Law School, earning her Juris Doctor degree in 2005. In 2014, William Sorrell, then the Attorney General of Vermont, hired Clark as an Assistant Attorney General. She served as the Chief of Staff to T.J. Donovan for 4 years while Donovan served as Attorney General. Clark announced her candidacy for state attorney general in the 2022 Vermont attorney general election, as Donovan was not seeking re-election. Clark defeated Rory Thibault, the state's attorney for Washington County, in the Democratic Party primary election, 58% to 28%. In the November 8 general election, she faced Republican Mike Tagliavia, a first-time candidate who is not an attorney, and won the election with 65% of the vote, becoming the first woman ever elected Attorney General of Vermont. Rawep View, what about neighbors of wood stove owners? As of January 5, 2023, Charity Clark is the Vermont Attorney General, having been elected in 2022. The office provides legal counsel for all state agencies and the Vermont General Assembly, the state's legislative branch. Vermont and New York are among 10 states intending to sue the EPA over wood stove standards. In a letter to the EPA last week, the states accused the agency of failing to review and ensure emissions standards by allowing the continued sale of appliances that could worsen pollution. Rawep View, the current extreme flooding in Vermont appears on first glance to be caused by climate change. Wood burning emits more CO2 and PM2.5 than coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM2.5 as fossil fuel natural gas burning. CO2 hastens climate change. VT Congressional Delegation calls on FEMA for help. July 10, 2023. Members of Vermont's congressional delegation are working to help with flood recovery. New York, New York City. Rawep View. Are people happy when they die of lung cancer that could have been prevented by cleaner air? Are people happy when they suffer from asthma or cataracts that could have been prevented by cleaner air? Ron DeSantis is one person who is happy as a tourist in NYC eating wood-fired pizza, and doesn't care if human health of people in NYC neighborhoods are harmed by the wood smoke PM2.5 pollution. The New York Times last week reported that Naples, Italy, arguably the birthplace and touchstone of modern pizza, already has emission regulations for wood-fired pizzerias very similar to the mayor's proposed regulations to bring PM2.5 emissions down by 75% in coal-burning and wood-burning pizzerias in New York City. Billionaires like Steve Forbes and Elon Musk are leading protests against any regulation of emissions from wood-fired pizzerias in New York City, with no concern for the little people that have to live with the PM2.5 pollution in their neighborhoods from indulging the questionable tastes of the super-rich. The writer of the article below takes a position that Rawep can applaud: pizza will not be ruined by not using wood burning to bake it. The article states that recent studies in Italy and Brazil both found significant concentrations of hazardous pollutants inside pizzerias. In 2015, one small town outside Naples, Italy, even went so far as to temporarily ban wood-fired pizza ovens in an attempt to curb air pollution in the area, protecting citizens' health. The only difference, after the proposal is enacted, would be that the air in and around the pizzeria where you choose to grab a slice will be cleaner. Rawep is not particularly happy that, according to the proposal, if an assessment concludes that a reduction of 75% cannot be reached for one reason or another, efforts must be made to reduce particulate pollution by at least 25%. New York, New York City. Dave Portnoy, Elon Musk, and more are fueling a false rumor about New York ruining its Yahoo News. The proposal requires that any pizzeria using coal or wood-fired ovens. Coal and wood-fired ovens release significant amounts of particulate. Monday, July 10, 2023. Despite what some in the media are saying, no one is coming for New York City pizza. The only difference would be that the air in and around the pizzeria where you choose to grab a slice will be cleaner. Excerpts edited by Rawep for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates. The proposal is a new rule in New York targeting coal and wood-fired ovens. The story quickly went viral. On Twitter, Elon Musk called the proposed requirement utter BS in a response. Dave Portnoy, of Barstool Sports, tweeted a video. In an interview with Fox News in an NYC pizzeria, Republican presidential candidate and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis blamed the proposal on the political left, stating, "They just don't want people to be happy." The proposal instead aims to reduce particulate matter emissions, which are bad for humans to breathe in. When pizza ovens are fired up, the burning of fuels like wood or coal creates this airborne pollution. As the EPA explains, this type of pollution is the mixture of solid particles and liquid droplets, such as dust, dirt, soot, or smoke. Coal and wood-fired ovens release significant amounts of particulate matter. This has been linked to serious health problems like asthma. heart and lung problems, and cancer. The NYC proposal would require that any pizzeria using coal or wood-fired ovens that were installed before May 6, 2016, add an emission control device, if possible, to cut particulate pollution by 75%. Texas, Houston, Drax. Rozep View. The writer begins this article stating the practice of burning wood for energy generation has seemed like an anachronism in the 21st century to many, including, frankly, myself. After all, one of the main reasons why England shifted to burning coal for cooking and heating purposes beginning in the 16th century was due to the rampant depletion of the country's forests, to such an extent that wood for fuel had actually become a scarce resource. What makes this writer change his mind and decide wood fuel is the wave of the future? Not because wood burning is clean energy, but because Drax is a big, successful company, and to him, Drax rules. Drax, a renewable energy company based in the United Kingdom, has been engaged for decades in the manufacture and supply of wood pellets for use in biomass power generation for customers in Europe and Asia. While Drax has also maintained operations in the United States for years, the company recently announced the establishment of U.S. headquarters in Houston, Texas, from which it will manage plans to expand operations into the southeastern United States. The writer makes some errors in fact, such as stating 1, wood burning is cleaner than coal burning, which is untrue, and 2, to control pollution, Drax plans to use a carbon capture system. But CCUS, carbon capture systems are expensive and have never worked. Wood burning emits more PM2.5 and CO2 than coal burning, and carbon capture has never worked in an industrial facility and requires government subsidies to pay for the ongoing decades-long failed attempts at carbon capture. Carbon capture is taxpayer dollars for the cleanup of emissions. It doesn't work for biomass plant emissions, as it doesn't work for coal plant emissions. This article is about grabbing money from the Inflation Reduction Act to subsidize an industry that cannot pay for itself, and grabbing money for wood burning that perpetuates emissions worse than coal burning emissions. Texas, Houston, Drax. BECCS, Converting Wood to Energy in the 21st Century, Forbes. The practice of burning wood for energy generation has seemed like an anachronism in the 21st century to many, including, frankly, myself. The author is a Texas-based public policy analyst/consultant. July 8, 2023. Wood pellets as a regenerative energy source. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates. While Drax has also maintained operations in the United States for years, the company recently announced the establishment of U.S. headquarters in Houston, Texas, from which it will manage plans to expand operations into the southeastern United States. The company's planned biomass operations will be located in rural areas in and around forest lands across the southeastern U.S., with headquarters in Houston, Texas. As Drax has done for years, it can help cut the nation's carbon emissions as part of efforts to meet national net zero ambitions, all while promoting healthy forest management practices. Considered in that context, it certainly stands out as a reasonable deployment of a portion of the $369 billion in subsidies and incentives contained in the IRA. Washington, King County, Seattle. Here's what wildfire smoke does to your body, U.S. Times Post. U.S. Times Post. Houston says the focus is on understanding the very small particles present in wildfire smoke that are smaller than PM 2.5. This is what wildfire smoke does to your body. HealthLink. Short-term exposure can be dangerous for people with respiratory or cardiovascular conditions, but what's less clear are the long-term effects. King 5, July 7, 2023. Seattle. Unhealthy air quality resulting from wildfires can have adverse effects on people with health conditions like asthma and pulmonary disease, but what is less clear is how long-term exposure to smoky air impacts the health of the general public. Everything you see in the literature is calling for more research into this, said a cardiologist at Swedish Medical Center. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates. The doctor specializes in treating heart failure and said he notices when the Seattle area experiences hazy skies from wildfire smoke. We definitely do see higher levels of heart attacks at that time, the doctor said. Unhealthy air does not only affect the lungs, it can be dangerous for the cardiovascular system. For people with existing pulmonary disease, significant exposure to smoky air can lead to heart failure and stroke. You have both chemical and fine matter particles that get all the way down into the deepest areas of our lung, and they can sit there and cause oxidative stress, the doctor said. Those, along with coughing and difficulty breathing, are some of the short-term impacts for people with health issues. But what is less clear is what a persistent, seasonal onset of wildfire smoke does to healthy individuals in the long run. A climate adaptation strategist with Public Health Seattle and King County said more research needs to be done. We don't have a complete picture of exactly how well wildfire smoke will impact our health, but we are seeing a lot more evidence suggesting that people who consider themselves to be young and healthy may actually be at higher risk than they previously perceived to be, the climate specialist said. The second doctor said the focus should be understanding the very small particles present in wildfire smoke that measure smaller than PM 2.5. Which is very fine particulate matter that has a diameter of about 20 times narrower than the width of a human hair, the climate specialist said. Wildfire smoke particles can include chemicals, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, and other volatile, organic compounds. All these things can cause free radical damage to the DNA, the doctor said. This is at least what we know about smoking. The doctor said that could lead to worsened lung function, but agrees that more research needs to look at which particles from smoke could lead to long-term impacts. If there is a particular particulate matter that we could determine is the biggest offender, that's something, but there are very sparse amounts of data about that, the doctor said. The climate specialist advises people to avoid spending prolonged time outside when the air quality is bad and to wear a quality mask like an N95 or K95 if going outdoors is a must. It is also recommended people install MERV filters in their homes to filter out any harmful particles. Washington, Seattle. https://usetimes-post.com/smoke-from-fireworks-western-washington-air-quality. Smoke from fires, fireworks impact Western Washington air quality. July 5, 2023. Air quality in King, Snohomish and Pierce counties ranged from unhealthy to dangerous on Wednesday, according to air quality figures. Seattle air quality has worsened across much of Western Washington, a day after the area celebrated Independence Day. Measurements showed air quality in King, Snohomish and Pierce counties ranging from unhealthy to dangerous on Wednesday morning. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates. The poor air quality is a combination of smoke from existing wildfires in Canada, multiple bushfires burning across western Washington, and Tuesday's fireworks. These conditions were made worse by overnight light winds that were unable to disperse the smoke. At one point on Wednesday morning, Seattle had third worst air quality in the world, according to IQ Air. The city's air quality has improved since early morning but is still not good for sensitive groups. Then, West Washington forecast Lakewood had an air quality index, AQI, of 350 shortly after 6:30 a.m., meaning the air here is dangerous and issues a health warning for anyone. When the air reaches hazardous levels, an N95 respirator should be worn to limit the dangers of inhaling the air. Here are the air quality levels to monitor, by AQI level, 0 to 50 AQI. Good air quality 51 to 100 AQI, average air quality 101 to 150 AQI, unhealthy for sensitive groups 151 to 200 AQI, unhealthy 201 to 300 AQI, very unhealthy 301 plus AQI, dangerous. As Western Washington intensifies on Wednesday, more pollution will be mixed into the air, which will thin the air and improve air quality. The King 5 First Alert Weather Forecast forecasts Snohomish and Pierce counties to experience unhealthy air quality throughout the day. King County is likely to have an AQI between 101 to 150, which means the air is not good for sensitive groups. High temperatures in Seattle are predicted to be around 88 degrees on Wednesday. Tips to protect yourself and those around you from secondhand smoke. Africa. Africa's energy poverty, grid expansion, stronger financing, balancing renewable ambitions. Down to earth. Who identifies wood smoke as the third biggest cause of deaths in the country after malaria and HIV/AIDS. The dependence on fuel would also lead to. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates. Africa's energy poverty, push to renewables, more players for power supply may help Madagascar's electrification plans. Around 35% of country has access to electricity, 1.4% has access to clean cooking fuel. July 10, 2023. Madagascar, officially the Republic of Madagascar, is an island country lying off the southeastern coast of Africa. It is the world's fourth largest island, the second largest island country and the 46th largest country in the world. Its capital and largest city is Antananarivo. Solar kits are extremely popular in rural areas of Madagascar and over 50,000 kits have been sold so far. Madagascar is one of the world's most energy-starved countries. The government plans to democratize electricity access, to bridge the energy gap in the country. 35% of Madagascar's population has access to electricity and 1.4% has access to clean cooking fuel, according to intergovernmental organization International Energy Agency. The country mainly depends on biomass for cooking fuel. A visit to Ambohimanatrika village in Moramanga district on June 11, 2023, showed the dismal state of their energy economics. 2 women and 2 children returned to the village with bundles of dry twigs on their heads. The fuel doesn't last long and in a couple of days, the villagers have to go in search of more firewood for cooking. The country is running out of forests. Locals reported having to travel longer and farther in search for wood and even having to chop down trees despite knowing its effects. Collecting firewood or substitutes is permanent work though the year for many. Charcoal, wood burned until it is reduced to almost pure carbon, which burns longer and hotter, is a necessity in towns too, as access to cooking gas, a luxury priced at $2 a kilo because of monopoly, is limited. In a year a household only uses about 400 grams of cooking gas on average. A poor household spends about 1/3 of its revenue on fuel for cooking. Fuelwood constitutes 92% of the national energy offer compared with 7% for gas products and only 1% for renewable, according to Madagascar's New Energy Policy, NEP. Ironically, the island is endowed with huge potentials, 7,800 megawatts of hydroelectricity with only 165 megawatts exploited in 2018. 1,500 to 2,100 kilowatt-hour per square meter per year of solar radiation and 7 to 9 meters per second for wind turbines at 50-meter height at the southern and northern tips of the island nation. Because of its high reliance on biomass, Madagascar has a non-sustainable management mode for its wood capital. The country's wood stocks have significantly decreased since 2012, the World Bank pointed out. The country's forest cover is less than 10% today, while the island might lose it completely by 2100. Reliance on biomass is another leading driver of deforestation. The high dependence of much of the population on fuelwood for cooking causes degradation, and has severe health and productivity impacts, particularly on women and children, reads the World Bank's Country Environmental Analysis 2022. It also stressed that air pollution, largely indoors, is the 3rd largest risk factor for death and disability in Madagascar. The economic cost of land degradation since 2000 is estimated at over $6.7 billion, amounting to 1.78% of gross domestic product per year. The Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, an independent global health research center in Washington, estimated nearly 21,500 deaths and 912,000 days lost to illnesses annually in Madagascar. Madagascar is fast promoting renewable energy. In 2023, the government promised to set up solar parks with 2 megawatts of installed power in 42 districts and 32 are promised for next year. Malagasy Energy and Hydrocarbons Minister Solo Andriamanampisoa said the country has around 5.8 million households. Only nearly 600,000 of them access electricity and the rest need solutions like the development of renewable projects by boosting rural electrification. The electricity sector needs total reform. Thus, the government aims at totally abandoning fossil fuels amidst the climate change goals despite the low rate emissions in the country, strengthening the national supply capacity, and reinforcing the National Regulatory Authority and the Rural Electrification Development Agency, ADER. So far, the state-controlled water and electricity company Jarama holds the electricity sale monopoly, according to the law. But users criticize bad service and frequent power outages throughout the year. On June 9, 2023, the WB Group Board of Directors approved $100 million in credit. Yet another $400 million is awaited from the bank too. The rural electrification market in the island is a big opportunity, charging mobile phones has emerged as a major local business, showing the need for electrification in rural areas, said the head of strategy and operations SHS at Mbalik Telma Company, which is affiliated to the mobile phone and network company Telma. Solar kits are extremely popular in the countryside, similar to a few other African countries, and more than 50,000 kits have sold to 250,000 residents so far. Investors should look into Madagascar's renewable market. However, the initial costs are steep. But the minister pointed out fiscal advantages. Renewable equipment has no import duties in the country and higher investment will bring down prices soon. President Andry Rajoelina had earlier promised the construction of a factory dedicated to the production of solar panels for the Malagasy use. The implementation is still awaited even as there are a few months left till the next election. It's time Africa switched. Arizona, Maricopa County. Newsflash: Maricopa County, AZ Civic Engage. Maricopa County. Ozone high pollution advisory issued for Monday, July 10. Wood burning in residential fireplaces, chimeneas, outdoor fire pits, and similar outdoor. Colorado, La Plata County, Durango. La Plata County implements fire restrictions. The Durango Herald. The Durango Herald. The use of fires, campfires, wood or coal-burning stoves, or any open fire in areas in unincorporated areas of the county are prohibited. Illinois. Illinois among states suing over wood-burning stoves. Jacksonville Journal-Courier. Jacksonville Journal-Courier. Attorneys general from 10 states plan to sue the EPA, saying it failed to review and ensure emissions standards for residential wood burning. Illinois. Air quality alert issued for Monday for municipalities throughout SE Michigan. WXYZ. WXYZ. Also reduce or eliminate activities that contribute to air pollution, such as outdoor burning and use of residential wood burning devices. Illinois, Kankakee. North Judson Town Council reminds residents of local burn ordinance. WKVI. WKVI. Leaves, wood and yard waste may be burned if attended regularly by an adult. It is legal to burn barbecue materials, not normally of a noxious nature. Illinois, Odin, South Central Illinois. Odin firemen called to pickup truck fire. WJBD. WJBD. Illinois and 9 other states plan to sue EPA over standards for residential wood-burning stoves. 14 hours ago ZV/CC. Louisiana, New Orleans. Illinois, Mount Vernon, South Central Illinois. MT Vernon man arrested on child pornography and meth charges. WJBD. WJBD. Illinois and 9 other states plan to sue EPA over standards for residential wood-burning stoves. Booming British mill companies' pollution draws scrutiny in Mississippi. Less so in Louisiana. NOLA.com. While Mississippi tests for hazardous air pollutants at wood pellet, in rural Yorkshire produces power by burning wood pellets sourced from Maryland, Baltimore. Baltimore County Police still working to solve 37-year-old cold case murder of Janice Potter. CBS News. He said the wood-burning stove in the basement was putting out too much heat. He came home to a horrific sight. Potter had been brutally murdered. Massachusetts. MIT experts shed light on the era of far-reaching wildfires. SciTech Daily. SciTech Daily. Selin, the pollutant of most concern in wildfire smoke is fine particulate matter, PM 2.5, fine particles in the atmosphere that can be inhaled. Michigan. Air quality alert issued for Monday throughout SE Michigan. WXYZ. WXYZ. You should also reduce or eliminate activities that contribute to air pollution, such as outdoor burning and use of residential wood burning. New Mexico, Albuquerque. University of New Mexico, UNM, Health Sciences and Services Building 266, 2500 Marble Avenue. City of Albuquerque. The applicant requests to replace the permitted diesel-fired emergency. Wood burning is not currently prohibited, however, please consider. Readers sound off on covered bike lanes, NYC corrections and more mass shootings. New York Daily News. Of a carbon footprint into the air on a single night than all the wood-burning and coal-burning pizza stoves in all of NYC during the summer? Oregon, Corvallis. Oregon Attorney General to sue EPA over wood-burning stove pollution. The Corvallis Advocate. They allege the agency has failed to adequately update its emissions standards for residential wood-burning stoves and fireplaces to ensure compliance. Oregon, Portland. NSWMA trying to control smoke from disposal site in Portland. RJR News. RJR News. The National Solid Waste Management Authority says it is using cover material to control the smoke coming from the Doctors Wood disposal site in Oregon, North Tillamook County. Trying to see the incurable wound, fence boasts, NorthCoastCitizen.com. North Coast Citizen. Everything impacts us from outside our body, a knife cut, that pleasant whiff of wood smoke, children laughing, the sour of lemon, bird song. Wisconsin, wildfire in Washara County. https://www.wbai.com/video/2023/07/11/drone-video-wildfire-washara-county. Canada. Safety share, wood hogger fires and deflagrations at sawmills, Canadian Forest Industries. Canadian Forest Industries. The machine was stopped to deal with burning wood, but 10 minutes later, another fire broke out in a pile of hog fuel at the outfeed of another. New Zealand, Wellington. Disease specialist speaks to importance of protecting pets, livestock from air pollution. Wellington Advertiser. Particulate matter 2.5, however, is significantly smaller than soot particles, and can bypass filtration in the nose. At 2.5 microns in diameter. India, Bangalore. Is Karnataka breathing easy? Bangalore Mirror. Bangalore Mirror. A nationwide analysis of annual fine particulate matter levels conducted, with a reduction of 37.8% and 38.1% in urban and rural PM2.5 levels. PM2.5 health effects. Can you believe environmental racism impacts aging in Black folks? Black Enterprise. Black Enterprise. From the same amount of PM2.5 pollution than their white counterparts. High levels of fine particulate matter PM2.5 pollution and nitrogen. Toxic levels of air shorten our lives. Camden New Journal. Camden New Journal. The monitors chart levels of nitrogen dioxide and PM2.5 particles, which can harm hearts and lungs. Residents in Camden can check how polluted air pollution exposure linked to longer hospital stay in patients with COVID-19. Helio. Exposure to heightened levels of PM2.5 1 week before hospitalization was linked to 4.13 more days, 95% CI, 0.74 to 7.53, in the hospital, which was. Air pollution is associated with greater severity of SSCILD, Pulmonology Advisor. Pulmonology Advisor. Median, IQR, forced vital capacity at diagnosis was 78.5%. 63.7 to 93.8%. All patients had pre-ILD diagnosis. Exposure levels for PM10 and PM2.5 higher. Technology and PM2.5 from wood burning. Clean energy firm delivers landmark 1000th biomass plant. Gas World. Gas World. Wood-fired biomass plants either burn wood to produce steam to power a. Burning biomass as fuel isn't the only way to generate electricity with. Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, see https://rawscpresidents.wordpress.com and click on the nearest right icon for the latest month, July 2023, of PDFs of articles with URLs to search on. To the right of that, stickers to hand out for RawsUp https://rawscpresidents.wordpress.com/recipe-sticker-templates-get-your-2 cents in games Bingo for RawsUp, 2, Crosswords for RawsUp, 3, Endwood Smoke Jeopardy! 4, Endwood Smoke Monopoly Games, 5, A RawsUp Flyer, 6, The Untwist It Game, and 7, Vending Machines for PM 2.5 Monitors, and icon links to 30-minute YouTube videos and Spotify podcasts as well as podcasts on Amazon Music Prime, free for Prime subscribers, podcasts.google.com, CastBox, and Pocket Cast. Pocket Cast is only free on the phone app. Pocket Cast works on Apple phones, and, below those icons, icon links to monthly PDFs of articles with URLs to search on, from June 2023 to May 2022.